There, that didn't take very long, did it? This is another really unusual equipment malfunction, perhaps. I'm going to show you, when we first got there, I wanted to take a picture of the sign. Basically, you're not supposed to be in the cemetery after dusk. And it shows the gate that I had put the recorder on. And you will notice, I'm going to turn around slowly so as not to give you any weird spins. You can see there's the first picture, looking quite normal. But this is the interesting part. I'm trying to do this without looking. I'm going to click on it so that I can see it. And lo and behold, look at what happens when I blow it up. Up here, sorry, hon, where the actual photograph is absolutely normal up here. Then there is this white line. It divides. Here is where the division is. This is the sign that we wanted to take a picture of. It's been chopped, flipped, put onto this side. So the picture itself is split in half, but the original photograph up here that showed on my list of pictures when I first go in is totally fine. I have no explanation for this one. None of the other photographs had this happen. All of the other ones come up totally fine. But it was interesting that before we did anything, this happened. It was before we filmed. And oddly enough, we were so excited about getting here. It was before we actually did our grounding ritual. So it's very possible that in the few moments before we got there, somebody did mess around a little bit with us. I don't know. It's an interesting, you can't say, yes, this definitely happened, or no, it didn't. Very, very interesting. You can still see the sign. And, you know, it's perfect. I don't know what would have happened with Charlotte's pictures. She hasn't said that anything unusual happened. And I did tell her that this had happened and I hoped that it would show up. I printed it off on my computer. I'm just about out of ink, but it printed exactly the way you're seeing it now. So that's just a very interesting thing that happened. And when you think about it, it did happen before we had done the grounding. I mean, I had done a white light thing that we talk about before I left home, but not when we actually got there. So who knows? It's very interesting. I shall go back out and try and find... Well, actually, why don't I just go back in? I'm going to switch around. This is probably the easiest way. I'll go back to that and just click back in. There we go. And we have our little arrow. And if I can get it focused properly, there's sort of our first picture of, there's the stone. And we've done a few around the cemetery. That's above. Now, an interesting note, when there is a hill like this one, a lot of times at the apex of a hill, especially if there's quartz or iron ores or things of that nature, you can have a lot of interesting things happen at the apex of a hill. That was the area back in behind. Now, is this the picture? No. I'm not sure if this is my interesting picture or not. Let me go one more. No, that might have been it. Doesn't look like too much, although that does sort of kind of look like a guy peeking from behind. But that's not what I wanted to look at. When you have these types of pictures, and I'd mentioned about how they like to hide. in between here, oops, that's not the actual picture that I want. I just realized. Okay, see, I'm still new to this. Somewhere I have a picture of that corner. This is the picture. Much better angle. This is it here. And it looks fairly, you know, nothing. It's between the two trees, which is why I went to the place where I did. And we're looking right in here. Oops. Maybe we're not. Okay. See, even I'm having issues, right? I'm going to show you where you're looking. You're looking, here's a head. And the arms, there is a full body. If once you watch down, you've got the arm, you can see the legs are here. You've got an arm sort of coming down. It's not as clear. I'm still going to try and bring her up so we can go around the head. You have an eye, an eye. The nose is here, but there's a highlight there. You have a small mouth. It looks as if perhaps he's wearing a sideways hat here and here. And if we bring this up, you can see the arms coming down. Back it up a bit. You can see that he's standing between the trees and looking. I'm hoping that you can see that. A lot of times when you try to blow it up and then print, because my camera does not have a high enough pixel thing, you do lose a lot of definition. I am hoping to come across a camera that when we do crop, you'll be able to see. So as you back away, you can, when you know where to see, you can still see quite clearly, whoops, that he's there. I'm saying he, I don't know what gender this person could be, but you can understand when you take a photograph that sometimes it's blatantly in your face and other times you need to scrutinize and look. You might find orbs, you might find, you know, unusual faces. That is obviously very, very similar to what some people refer to as shadow beings. I don't refer to that as a shadow being. And when I used a pendulum to dowse to try and figure out what was going on, I was basically asking, is this a picture of someone who needs to cross over? I got the answer, no. I says, is this a person? It said no. I said, is this an elemental? And it said yes. And what I believe, this may be a guardian. And I know that sounds kind of unusual. This is not the first time I have seen a picture similar to this wearing a hat. And in the picture that I saw, and I'm not going to say who took the picture, but it is another ghost investigator in the area that I know of. And he's sort of straining to look and see. The person that took the picture of him was not trying to get a picture of anyone. He was trying to get some promo pictures. And, you know, like pictures for pamphlets and a site and things. And it was set far back like this. And he was sort of straining to get a look at what was going on. Very similar to what I believe this one's doing. The head's kind of cocked to the side and trying, well, what are they doing? See, there's been a lot of very bad things that happened here, and I believe that the nature spirits, elementals, whatever you want to refer to them as, are trying to keep an eye on the place. It's one of the things that, if you believe in this type of thing, that they do. And Charlotte also has an amazing photograph that she's described to me. across the road where we saw the ravens, and as soon as I get the picture, I will do the same thing and show you. At one time, we will explain how, how we get the photographs. There is a little bit of a trick, but not really. You do need a digital camera, but not always. I won't go into massive detail, but there is someone in the area, and at some point we will ask if it's okay for us to talk about this person. He's a male person. He gives lectures throughout Ontario, and they are wonderful lectures. You can learn a lot. I totally believe that it is to your benefit that if this is something that you're interested in, not necessarily filming and making a show, but something that, as a hobby, or maybe you want to write a book on your adventures, whatever it is, it's really great to get as much information from as many different areas as you can. Certain things that feel wrong to me might feel right to you. So if what I'm saying is somewhat confusing, but you read or you saw someone do it in a different way, you take bits of information from wherever you get them. What feels right specifically to you is what you need to use. Just because I do something in a specific way doesn't mean that's the way that you need to go out and do it. Charlotte and I have, she's got, say, she does a lot of healing modalities. She's got Reiki. I don't have Reiki. I do have, what's it called? Something touch. Like, I've always done energy healing without knowing what it was for years and years as a child. And I would send energy out. Like if there was a fire, I would send energy out to the people that were involved, whether it was fire people, people that were involved in the fire. But what I physically saw as a child was like smoke or mist. And I was just trying to surround the area with a loving, protective energy that would help whoever do whatever they needed, because I knew I didn't know what they needed. I just knew I had to help, and that's how I did it for a long time. Ambulances would go by and I'd put my hand up to send energy to the people, either the workers, the person that's in the ambulance being treated, not aiming my energy specifically for how to heal, just energy so they can. Going to Peaceful Arts has, it wasn't my very first class. My very first class was given by Gary McDonald, Susan McDonald, and her husband are business people in town for a long, long time. They had a natural health healing store. They had lots of classes. I believe she does pottery now, and the healing touch, or I'm not exactly sure what the word is right now, but you don't actually, like, if this is the person you're healing, you're sending energy from this distance, and if you do that, you can feel an energy transfer. You can also see it, and we may talk about it at some point. So that was my very first, like, 3-hour class. Didn't cost me a lot of money, but it was like, oh, that's what it is? And when I discovered Peaceful Arts, she fine-tuned me, working with crystals and all sorts of things. And she has a monthly classes throughout the month where she does crystal play, where you talk about crystals and what they can do, and you bring crystals in and you show and tell, and it's just an amazing little class. She does like the drumming, which that also helped to give me a lot of focus, which was wonderful. And all these little things, and the books I've been reading, and like anything, like if you hear something and you don't know what it is, you go onto Google, as my son says, Google it, Mom. And it's like, because we didn't have a computer up until, several years ago. So it's to get any information you can from wherever you can. And if someone says, well, this is what I did, and you're like, you got really cool results from that, but I don't know if that's right for me. Then you observe what they did and you think, okay, what can I get from this? Do I get, oh, I would never do that? Or do you get, oh, I could use that idea and change it this way, and I think that would be better for me. Like, so this is one of the reasons why we wanted to talk to you. Now I'm going to, what am I going to do? I've done it again. I started talking and lost my spot. I'm going to go through some of my pictures and things, and as soon as Charlotte gets her picture, and I'm so excited to see this picture because she described it, and it's just like, ooh. So we'll continue looking through any other anomalies that I find, and sometimes you go through pictures 3 or 4 times before you zoom in on what you're supposed to see. So we will continue today, tomorrow, I'm not sure when, and we'll get this up really soon. Hi, here's an interesting picture that I just found, and something that I would like to show. Actually, this particular tree, I was sensing stuff by. I thought I could see somebody in the tree, I wasn't sure, and if you happen to be looking for orbs or something, and you're zooming in, this is where you're going to be looking, just above my hand. My hand is the computer's hand. There's a little dot, and sometimes these dots are actually orbs. This is not, but I'm going to zoom in to show you that it's actually getting pixelated. This little dot, which is completely circular and there by the trees, can look like an orb, but my camera is older, and every now and then there's pixels missing, and it's in that one little spot. So it does sort of look like an orb, but it's solid white. It's completely, like, you can tell when you're looking at it from this particular distance that it is most definitely just a missing pixel. But it is interesting to know that that's what it is, that's what to look for, that it's not actually anything. And I kept sensing something in here. So I took several pictures, and it really doesn't look like anything. There's the close-up, and I'm concentrating, trying to find, like, is there something in here I should be looking at? And there was, but it was on this side of the tree. It's a little, I don't know if it's a knot. There's also a little weird thing here. We'll look at the little weird thing first. It sort of looks like a smiley face. It's just a part on the tree, but you can see 2 eyes and it's like a smiling mouth. And this looks like a chubby face. You've got a weird little mouth here. Sort of an odd little nose. You've got 2 eyes. One eye is sort of closed. This one's open. Chubby cheeks. A little Fred Flintstone-y. You know, he's got some hair. Now, I would call these nature spirits, elementals. They're also guardians. You can tell, you know, they're sort of smiling and chuckling that, okay, they're not here doing anything bad. If we were using negative energy, we believe that negative energy is reflected back threefold. So if you're doing something not so nice with negative intentions, you can get some negative reactions. Now, I was sure I could see something under this particular stone. This is an example of how a lot of the older stones were smashed, some beyond recognition. This was an area down in below behind that hill, and down in there as well, that Charlotte kept feeling that she could see things. I was seeing a lot of things in these trees, but at the moment, I'm not sure what I was trying to show you. There's an unusual face here, which is probably hard to see. oh, there's a large face here. And if you look, there's the mouth right there. You've got the chin. The eyes are here. The nose is sort of this area. It does look as if it might have a body coming down here. There's like a foot. Oh, did I go off to the side? Sorry. But that would be one of the nature elements we were talking about. We have another face right here. He's got like almost like teddy bear ears. But there's an eye, the nose, and he's smiling. His chin comes down like that. And there's also, if you look, another face directly on top right here. You've got an eye. There's like a giant mouth, smiley mouth. There's also a very faint one in behind here. There's the mouth, there's a nose, an eye. Looks like he has a long beard. There's also a face. Oh, I had you. Where did you go? Right here, a small face. Eye. The nose is very triangular, smiling, and you can see there's the shoulders here coming down. Very definitely looks female. I'm not going to tell you what those look like, but it looks female to me. There is also, oh, okay, we're still recording. My cord came out. Right here is another face, and here's a face. Like, so there was faces all over the place. This was a close-up of something I was seeing at the time, and I'm not sure where I'm looking. We will post these. Oh, these were these lovely little flowers that we're not quite sure what they were, but they appeared to have this little, they turn into a club-like, probably a seed pod, because there's one there. This one is not gone that far yet. If anyone knows what these lovely little flowers are, by all means let us know, because that distracted us. Do I have... Okay, I'm not sure what I'm looking at in that picture. No, I'm trying to see. I'm not sure there. Oh, there. I did see it as I go. There's... Oh, and I've lost it. It's up here. There were several. I also had... Okay, the corner that we got that very interesting person peeking is down in this corner, looking that way through the trees, which that just sort of gives you an idea of where it was. There's Charlotte. See, we got lots and lots and lots of interesting photos in that direction. There's that hill, by William Stone looking to the back. There's a lot of, if you go down in the back and over to this way, there's broken stones like all over the place. This tree I found incredibly interesting. I didn't see anything on there, but I know there had to be something. And oh, you can see there on the stone, that was where we had left the EMF machine, which beeps and lights up if anything had touched it, and the voice recorder, which obviously got messed up. Okay, there we are. So, oops, spinning around. Those are just a few of my pictures, which we will put on our World of Wonders Facebook page. So you can, subscribe, you can join the Facebook page to get a better close at the pictures. To actually be able to zoom in on what we're seeing, I think you may have to actually download the picture to do that. We do try to blow it up so that you can see it clearly. I'm very excited about Charlotte's picture, and as soon as we get that evidence, we will upload this as soon as possible. Uh-oh.